The hollow season. The first autumn leaf fell on September 3rd and never hit the ground. It drifted upward instead, slow as smoke, until it vanished somewhere above the maple canopy. Lena watched it go from her porch swing, coffee gone cold in her hand. She told herself it was a trick of wind or light, or the way grief bends perception after 3 months of empty rooms. By the next morning, every leaf on the tree was rising. Not falling, rising, one by one at first, then in soft flurries, like the tree was exhaling its own skin backward into the sky. The branches looked thinner each day, stripped clean from the tips inward. By the end of the week, the entire maple was bare, naked in September, and the grass beneath it had started to turn the wrong color, pale violet, glowing faintly after dusk. Lena didn't call anyone. Who would believe her? She took photos instead. The timestamps on every picture were identical, 1437, over and over, no matter when she pressed the shutter. She stopped sleeping in the house. She moved to the old tool shed at the back of the property, dragged in a cot and a kerosene heater. From there, she could watch the yard without being watched back. Because something was watching. It started small, a shadow that stayed too long under the empty maple when the sun had already moved on. A silhouette that looked like a child standing at the edge of the woods, too still, too tall for any child she knew. Every night it came a little closer, never crossing the property line, just waiting. On the 13th night, the sky itself began to peel. A thin seam opened above the maple, the color of old bruises. Stars leaked through it like spilled mercury, sliding down invisible threads toward the tree's bare crown. The threads gathered there, coiling, forming something that looked almost like a face. Eyes too wide, mouth a long vertical split. Lena understood then, with the clarity of someone who has already lost everything that matters. This wasn't an invasion. It was a return. The thing in the sky had come to collect what it had loaned her 8 years earlier. She remembered the night the doctors said there was nothing more they could do. The sterile room. The monitors flatlining. The way she'd screamed into the dark until her throat gave out. And the bargain she'd made, wordless, desperate, with whatever listened. Take whatever you want. Just let him breathe again. The next morning Milo had opened his eyes. Color returned to his cheeks. He grew strong. He laughed. He ran through this very yard chasing fireflies. 8 perfect years. 8 seasons. Now the debt was due. Lena walked out barefoot into the violet grass. The air tasted like metal and rain that hadn't fallen yet. The shadow child at the tree line stepped forward, finally crossing the invisible boundary, and resolved into something clearer. Milo, exactly as he'd been at 8, but made of the same bruise-colored light that leaked from the sky. He didn't speak. He only held out his hand. Behind him the threads tightened. The maple groaned as roots began to lift from the soil, curling upward like fingers reaching for the seam in the heavens. Lena looked at the hand offered to her. She could refuse. She could run. She could scream again the way she had in that hospital room. Instead, she knelt in the glowing grass and pulled the boy close, warm, solid, smelling faintly of cedar and the strawberry shampoo he'd always hated. "I kept my promise," she whispered into his hair. "You got to be 8 twice." The boy's arms went around her neck. The sky seam widened. Everything rose then. Grass, roots, the empty swing set, the tool shed with its little cots still warm. The entire yard peeling upward in slow, graceful sheets. Lena felt herself lift to, weightless, cradled. She looked down one last time. The house stood alone on its patch of ordinary lawn. Ordinary maple beginning to bud again. Ordinary October waiting just beneath the bruise. She closed her eyes and let the season take them both home.